Alright guys, so haven't made a video in a while and I need to do a project for someone as like a thank you. So I'm going to do my rendition of getting a retropie up and running. I know a lot of people have made videos on this stuff, but I don't have my tripod set up because it just moved. So we're going to have to deal with some shoddy camera work. I'm also trying to be quiet because my girlfriend's in the next room sleeping. She's not feeling well. But basically this is a kit. I spent about $100 on this off of Amazon. So I got a Logitech F310, which is a wired controller. I tried using a wireless controller and I felt like the response time was a little laggy. So this time I'm using just a regular wired. It's like kind of like a combination of an Xbox and a PS3 controller, PS2 controller, I don't know. Next thing is 120 gig, 128 gigabyte micro SD card. This needs to be this large because we're going to use something called the raise image, which we'll be putting a hell of a lot of games without any configuration, minimal configuration, along with Kodi. I got a Raspberry Pi 3. This has the built-in Wi-Fi. Here's the heat sinks for it. Doing everything one-handed, so this will be fun. Oh, they come in a little bag now. It's new. That's it right there. So 4 USB ports, Ethernet port, audio jack, HDMI, power port, and on the bottom there is the slot for the SD card. Next thing, clear acrylic case. Pretty nice. I like using the clear ones because I think people think they're cooler than the just standard black ones. Oh, and the final component. This is just a typical, almost like a micro USB car charger, or no, well, phone charger. So these three came together as a kit. This right here for about like 60 bucks. Then another like 40 bucks or something like that, or 30 bucks, and another like $18. Same day shipping. Amazon Prime. I ordered this while I was at work today. Case snaps apart. I'm not going to be able to do it with one hand, but the next thing we're going to do is well, I already have it, but would need to get the raise image and image the SD card. I'll show you where to get that in a minute. I'm trying to think of anything else. I think that's it for now. So, case comes apart. All right. The case is also like kind of like, I don't want to say key coded, but it definitely has notches to let you know which way it goes in. As you can see, that notch right there lines up for the audio. Just put it in. Eventually it'll slide in. It's a good thing I'm a little bit ambidextrous to do this. It's still not sitting all the way in. I'm actually gonna put this down for a second. Kind of feels like it doesn't. This case wasn't molded entirely as well, but other ones have gone in easier than that. But you could kind of see how it's notched. Actually, before I put this on, I definitely want to put the heat sinks. A long time ago, I thought that these things didn't need heat sinks, and then one day I touched one of my existing Raspberry Pis and learned that it absolutely does need the heat sinks. They do generate quite a bit of heat when you're gaming with them. But I've yet to see, just bear with me. Like I said, I just moved. I don't know where my tripod is yet. But double-sided tape, just going to pull it off. That one's going to sit there like that. This one will sit there like that. And then we'll put the rest of the case on. So here it is all put together. The heat sinks are in there a little crooked, doesn't matter. As long as they're distributing the heat. There's the SD card in the bottom. I have not formatted it yet or anything, but it will be done soon. And I'm gonna have to try and set up my PC, probably in the living room. It'd be the easiest right now because my computer desk is an absolute mess with unpacking all over it. So yeah, let's just look at, like I said, I already have the Raise image there, and I'm gonna format the drive, the SD card, and image it, and that's gonna take at least a couple of hours, believe it or not. Like I said, it's a very large image. Okay guys, so I got my PC running, but it's running on like a 65-inch TV that I'm sitting like 2 feet away from it. So you want to do a Google search for Raise image, R-E-Y-S, image, retropie. And you want to look for that Reddit image, that Reddit link right there. When you go inside that Reddit link, you'll see a YouTube video that's kind of like what it looks like right there. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see this magnet here. This very long magnet. And you want to copy that magnet and then put it into BitTorrent. And that'll start the download. That download will take, I got like an overscan problem here, but that download will take probably a day and a half, or at least a day. So just leave it running. What you'll end up having is a giant, ignore this folder for now, but you'll have all these pieces of 7-zip, files. When you run the first one, it'll create this folder, and then you'll have the image itself right there, which is 124 point something gigs, right? The next thing you'll need is to obviously put your SD card in. Now you'll notice that this SD card is 128 gigs, but it's only showing 119. You're gonna right click it and format it. I just do this in general. You could leave it, I think you could leave it as ext fat. I don't think it's going to make a difference, because when you run disk imager for this image, it's going to re-image it as like a compressed like Linux type image. So the next thing you need is this Win32 disk imager. Once again, it's freeware. You just download it. Make sure that this drive letter matches your mountable drive. And now I just gotta find that image itself. Here it is. And click right. You'll get a warning. Double check that you're definitely re-imaging the right thing. And this is going to take hours tonight. So I'll come back when it's imaged and I actually install it into the RetroPie and get it running. Okay, so it's the next day. Imaged the drive. It's now booting up. You want to have a mouse, a keyboard, and a remote control as like gamepad connected at boot up. It will take a little while to boot for the first time. And we should see a prompt saying, to configure the gamepad. Okay. I'm going to try and remember all these steps to set this up. Probably going to stumble along the way, but whatever. Figure it out as we go. Okay, so you should see that it says you have a gamepad detected. So I'm going to hold the A button and configure it. And you're just going to follow the prompts to set this up. So I'm pushing the D-pad up, down, left, right, start, select, A, B, X, Y, left shoulder, left trigger, right trigger. When it says left thumb, it actually means to press the button in, the analog sticks in. Okay, so what that did was it created, and if you have a controller that didn't have all those buttons, you just, it said like hold A to skip or whatever. So now I'm going to go to RetroPie. I'm going to go down to Wi-Fi, and we're going to set up Wi-Fi really quick. This is where you need a keyboard. So I know you can't see that, but it says connect to Wi-Fi network. Hit OK, you find the network that you want. Unfortunately, the Raspberry Pi is at 2.4. I'm just going to set this down for a second while I type in the password. Because I'm still holding, I still haven't found my tripod. So right now it just says connecting, and you can't see it, but on the top left of that box, you actually see the network and the IP address. So we're just going to highlight cancel. Now we're on Wi-Fi. Okay, so now another thing that we need to do is go to, I believe, RetroPie setup. Actually, I want to go to audio really quick. Select, I'm using HDMI, so that's what I'm selecting. So now I'm going to RetroPie setup. And I'm doing manage packages, and then I'm going to manage experimental packages, and I am looking for something that's not here. So I'm going to go back. Maybe it's optional. Just give me a second. I'm trying to find, I'll explain what I'm doing in a second. Okay, that's what it's in optional packages, and I'm looking at LR-Beetle VB. That is, I forgot the name of it. The Virtual Boy, that 3D, yeah, Virtual Boy emulator. That's that NES 3D thing that they had. So that's all you had to do is select install from binary. Of course, you need the Wi-Fi to be working to do that. I think that's all we needed for that, because this image for some reason didn't have that installed, although it has games and stuff like that for it. The next thing I want to do is resize this image, because the SD card I used is a little larger than the actual image, so there's some unused space. So I'm going to go to Raspberry Config, and we're going to select the first thing, which is expand file system. So this takes like literally a second, and now you have the full size. If you don't do that, what ends up happening is you'll have like zero space. And I'm just going to reboot. So you would have like zero space on the SD card to add any more ROMs, but yet you would still have more space. So it just fixes the partition from the image, because the image is a little smaller. Okay, so we're just going to go over to RetroPie now. I swore there was another section to do the volume. Okay, mixer, that's the other thing. Let me go into mixer, and I'm just going to raise this. I'll raise this up. Okay, so right there. And hit escape. So now the next thing I'm going to do is so now I have audio. I'm going to restart in the track mode. So you could use that front end if you really want. I'm not a fan of that front end. It's more like just text-based, no videos type thing. This will do a quick reboot again, and it changes its front end. So you'll get this intro. You can just push a button to skip it. And then now you see the main menu. So these are all the emulators that are here. There's more than enough. There's exit or track mode there, but we're going to go to track mode setup. And here's Kodi, retropie setup. This is how you get back to emulation station, which is the one that we were working on before. And press tab to configure a track mode. So we're going to hit tab, and we're going to go into controls, is it? Or is it emulators? I gotta look. So one of the things is that when we did that button mapping before, that pretty much maps like retropie to those keys, but some of these emulators need their keys remapped. For example, NES and so let's go into NES. This is actually the wrong spot. So we did need controls. Nope. So this is the front end controls. I'm going to definitely adjust this stuff because this avoids sometimes having to use a keyboard to do certain things. So displays menu, I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to add an input. I'm going to press the key that I want. I'm going to remove this one. You can just set this up the way you want, but this one I'm just putting D-pad inputs in. Trying to think of what other ones I messed with. Anyway, you get the idea there. So now, when I hit that button that I put display menus, if I go into, well, that didn't select, that's interesting. Okay, so let me go to back and fix that one first. Yes. So let's see if this is working now. No. So what's happening is I have a conflict of two keys. So I'm just trying to figure out where that conflict is. Okay, so now it's working. So as you can see, all the artwork is already set up, the videos are already set up, the games are already in there, and all you got to do is just pick which one. If you move left and right, it'll change the system. If you move up and down, it'll change the game. And then in my case, I put a display menu button, so if I press that, it'll actually bring me to like a shortcut menu. And that'll, let you pick whatever else you wanted. If you go to your track mode setup again, it'll bring you back to this. So now we're going to launch Kodi, because Kodi is a bit of a nightmare. And what I have to do is I have to actually disconnect the remote control as it's booting up, or else you get a weird, or it could just crash on me. Okay. See if I can launch it with the keyboard. Okay, so the Wi-Fi is already set up because of the retropie. But one thing that you want to do is turn off the remote control, because for some reason all it does is make it go back and forth, and then you can download Kodi on your phone and control it through Wi-Fi. I'm not going to go through all those setups or how to get Kodi to work and stuff like that. There it is, remote control. I feel like I'm missing a spot somewhere. Input devices. Enable joystick gamepad support. I turn that off because all it does is make my system go nuts. And then the rest of this stuff you can figure out by Googling how to add in repositories like Exodus and stuff like that, but I'm not going to go through it. So the next thing is, if you went down to power and put exit, that'll get you right back to a track mode. So that's pretty much all of it set up. I mean, there's more configuration stuff you could do to this, but that pretty much gets you up and running.